JenniferCaviness. I'm from Miamisburg, Ohio.
Have you ever been a surrogate before?
I have not. This will be my first time.
And what made you decide that you wanted to become a surrogate for a couple who wants to have a baby but just can't conceive?
My husband actually has male factor infertility, and we struggled for 4 years trying to get pregnant before we used a donor to conceive our twins. So just having gone through that and understanding, that's not easy for everybody, I decided that I want to be a surrogate to try to help somebody else.
You want to say that you want to express why you're interested in doing this?
Having gone through infertility myself with my husband and having some friends who have also gone through it, I understand the emotional, aspect of it, and I just really want to help another couple to be able to achieve their dreams of being parents. Without donors and surrogates and people out there to help, then,
okay.
We need people out there, and I just want to help somebody.
Okay. So obviously you said you've got kids and you're married.
Yes.
What's your husband's name?
My husband's name is Barrett. He goes by Barry.
And describe your relationship with him.
He's my best friend. We've been together since I was 19. I'm 32 now. And we just have the best time. We're friends first. He's the best father.
Tell me about your kids.
I have 2 kids. They're Ava, Brooklyn, and Evan Liam. They just turned 3. They're twins. They turned 3 last week. And they are absolute joys. They're so fun. They're in such a fun stage right now.
Great. Well, one of the things that we want to make sure is that, does your husband support you doing this?
Absolutely. Because we use a donor to conceive our kids, my husband just feels very thankful and grateful that there's somebody out there that helped us, that he wants to be able to help somebody else as well. So he's 100% supportive.
Does he have any reservations, potentially of the legal relinquishment of any of the parentage after birth?
None at all.
How's your support system from your family and friends?
We have a large family. He has 2 brothers and sisters, and his parents are all nearby. I have my parents and 2 sisters. We have 14 nieces and nephews, 3 great nieces and nephews, and everybody's really super supportive, and we get together every week for dinners, and everybody's really excited for us.
How, when you went through your pregnancy, how was everything during your pregnancy? How did they support you?
My mother came over daily to rub my belly. She was very excited. Everybody helped me out. I had a great pregnancy. It was easy. I loved being pregnant. My family came and cooked me dinner and cleaned the house for me and tried to keep me off my feet as much as possible.
When you had the kids in there, obviously you had some maternal feelings about it?
Yes.
And how do you feel like you would deal with its being a surrogate this time as opposed to these being your children?
I think with my children, I felt those feelings because they're mine. And I think when you're pregnant, you think about the bonding experience is part of what you think about when they're here, and what you're going to name them and how you're going to raise them. With being a surrogate, I feel that I'm sure there'll be some bonding, but I know it's not my baby, so I don't think I'll feel that maternal bond with them.
Okay. Now you had an easy pregnancy. You said no
Yes.
complications or anything like this. Did you experience anything like morning sickness or dizziness or nausea?
Morning, noon, and night sickness for about 29 weeks. My husband always joked that I could be the only one throwing up and smiling at the same time. We were just so happy that we were pregnant and experiencing it.
Was there anything that you did to help you get through this time?
I just rest as much as possible, ate healthy foods, drank lots of fluids. My mother came over and helped if I needed help with the house or cooking. I also worked at the time with that, so she was very helpful in helping make sure that I had healthy foods in the house for me.
You've mentioned healthy foods a couple of times. Obviously, how you take care of yourself in health is a concern of everybody's. So how do you take care of yourself and your health?
I eat lots of fresh fruits and veggies. I buy all organic milks. I eat all natural meats as well. I stay away from caffeine when I'm pregnant and away from all of the foods that I'm not supposed to have when I'm pregnant.
Okay. What did you, what was your typical diet when you were pregnant last time?
All organic, all natural foods, breakfasts. I had, all natural farm grain, farm-raised eggs. Lunches were fruits and salads. Dinners, vegetables and chicken, steak.
Great. Sounds like you. Now, one of the things that happens when they do the transfer, more than one embryo is implanted, and there's a possibility that more than one will succeed in implanting. How do you feel about carrying more than one child?
Well, I have twins, so I'm definitely comfortable with carrying multiples.
If the intended parents in the couple don't wish to have any more than one child, or if there's a other need for fetal reduction, how do you feel about that?
I'm completely okay with it. This is their baby, and I feel like they should be able to make the decisions regarding the size of their family.
Are you willing to work with the surrogate agency, your doctors, your OB/GYN, to make sure you take all the necessary tests and everything that they recommend?
Definitely, yes.
And you're willing to travel out of state for these procedures if necessary?
Yes.
What type of relationship do you expect to have with the couple after the birth of the child?
I don't expect any kind of relationship. I do think it would be nice to receive pictures, every once in a while. But I'm open to no contact as well, if that's what the intended parents' wishes.
Do you have any desire to have any contact with a child as he or she grows to adulthood?
I'm definitely open to it, but once again, I want to make sure that the intended parents, whatever they're comfortable with, I would be comfortable with.
Another sensitive issue is abortion, and typically abortions are not allowed under ULANE's SAP terms of services. However, there are times when it may be brought up. In the case of a divorce or one or both of the intended parents pass away during your pregnancy, would you consider an abortion?
If that's what the intended parents wanted. If the intended parents did not want an abortion, then I wouldn't automatically choose that.
Okay. If for some reason something happened, they both passed away, would you, and you had the option either way to go with an abortion, would you consider keeping the child and adopting this child through an arranged agreement?
Yes, if that's what the intended parents' wishes would be, then I would talk with my husband and we could consider it.
Okay. Now also sometimes if a fetus has found to have any defects, diseases, disabilities to some degree, even though they are required to take these child after birth, if they for some reason didn't want to, would you be willing to adopt this newborn child?
I would be willing to discuss it with my husband.
Okay. There are some cases where even though all the blood tests were done in the United States for the intended parents, that there are frozen embryos in China and we cannot transport them to the United States. Would you be willing to travel to China for the embryo transfer cycle procedure?
I would.
Are you comfortable providing breast milk for feeding the newborn baby?
I am. I nurse both of my babies.
Are you willing to work exclusively with ULANE for at least a year under the agreement?
I am.
In the event that there's a failed embryo transfer cycle, would you be willing to try again through the next embryo cycle with the same parents or potentially new parents?
I am.
Would you want to start immediately? Be willing to start immediately, or would you prefer to wait a month or two?
I'd be willing to start immediately.
After your visits to your doctor or your OB/GYN, are you willing to ask for a written documentation of what the results are, so you could potentially fax them or scan and email them to ULANE and the intended parents?
Yes.
And is there anything else that you'd like to share or say to any intended parents out there that's to let you know a little bit more about you or your feelings or anything?
I'm just really excited to be able to help another couple achieve their dreams of being parents. Without a donor, I wouldn't have been able to become a mom myself. So I'm just really excited to be starting this journey.
All right, good.